Imagine a forest where squirrels run the economy. In this forest, the currency isn't dollars. It's acorns. Squirrels trade acorns for everything: leaf housing, nut smoothies, underground cable, and those deluxe imported tree hammocks from the southern woods. Life is simple. 1 acorn gets you a snack, 2 acorns buys a nice dinner, 10 gets you a tree to live in. Everyone agrees on the value of an acorn. And most importantly, that value stays pretty steady. But one day, something changes. A group of very serious squirrels in suits, they call themselves the Acorn Reserve, decide to help boost the economy. Their plan? Print more acorns. Not literally grow more trees, just make more official acorns and release them into circulation. Suddenly, squirrels across the forest have way more acorns in their paws. At first, it feels amazing. Squirrels are spending freely. They're buying luxury twigs, imported moss rugs, personal sap stylists. Everyone's excited. Businesses are booming. Acorns are flowing. But slowly, something weird starts happening. Prices start to go up. That same nut smoothie that cost 1 acorn, now it's 2. That treehouse you were saving for, it's now triple the price. Even basic things like winter fur hats. Why? Because there are more acorns everywhere. But the number of goods? The same. There aren't more trees or more nuts or more squirrel baristas. Just more acorns chasing the same stuff. And that, right there, is inflation. Inflation is when the overall price of goods and services goes up over time, and your money, or in our case, your acorns, buy less than before. Let's pause. If inflation is just more acorns around equals higher prices, then why does the Acorn Reserve do it? Isn't inflation bad? Not always. A little inflation can actually be helpful. It encourages squirrels to spend rather than hoard. If your acorns lose value slowly over time, you're more likely to trade them for goods, services, or investments, helping the forest economy grow. But too much inflation, like when you flood the economy with acorns overnight, and prices rise faster than wages, causing real problems. Some squirrels start panicking. They saved 50 acorns thinking they could retire in a fancy branch condo. Now it barely covers a basic twig hut. Others start hoarding goods instead of acorns. Why? Because an actual nut holds value better than a constantly depreciating acorn. This leads to what's called a loss of confidence in currency. When squirrels stop trusting acorns to hold value, they might create black markets, trading nuts, shiny rocks, or foreign currencies instead. Now let's talk about the opposite: deflation. When prices fall. Sounds good, right? Cheaper stuff? But it's not that simple. If prices fall too much, squirrels stop spending entirely. Why buy now when things will be cheaper next week, they think? Businesses suffer, layoffs start, and the economy shrinks. That's why most central squirrel banks, like the Acorn Reserve, aim for a target inflation rate, usually around 2% per year. Just enough to keep the economy moving, but not so much that acorns become worthless. Now, here's the twist. Inflation isn't just about printing more acorns. There are actually 2 main types of inflation. Demand pull inflation, where too many acorns chase too few goods. Basically, when squirrels have extra acorns and really want luxury fur coats, it drives up prices because suppliers can't keep up. Cost push inflation, where the cost of making things goes up. Like if there's a shortage of good bark or a fungus ruins nut crops, producers raise prices to cover their costs. And then there's something called wage price spirals. Squirrels notice prices going up, so they demand more acorns for their work. Businesses pay them more, but then raise prices to afford those higher wages. It loops again and again. Left unchecked, this spiral can lead to hyperinflation, where prices rise so fast that acorns lose value hourly. In some historical forests, squirrels needed wheelbarrows of acorns just to buy a single pine cone. So what can be done? That's where interest rates come in. When inflation rises too fast, the Acorn Reserve raises interest rates, making it harder to borrow acorns. Squirrels spend less, demand cools off, prices stabilize. And when the economy slows too much, they lower interest rates to encourage borrowing and spending, stimulating the forest again. It's a delicate dance. Too hot, the forest burns. Too cold, the economy freezes. Just right, squirrels thrive. So next time you hear inflation in the news, just picture a forest overflowing with acorns, prices climbing, squirrels scrambling, and one squirrel economist in a tiny tie nervously watching it all unfold. Inflation isn't just about money. It's about trust, balance, and making sure your acorns today can still buy something tomorrow.